welcome to another episode of Coming Up Milhouse, where the three of us watched Season 4, Episode 13, Selma's Choice.
That's right, we had a little bit of a hiatus, so thank you for coming back. But we're coming back strong with Selma's Choice, so Selma decides that, she's doesn't want to die alone, so she needs to start a family. But the attempts to find a husband to help her with that don't go too well. But there are other alternatives to having kids, and it gets into that. So lots of silly things going on with this one. So why don't we kick it off with lines? Give me line number one.
What was my line number one? Can we please stop somewhere? My butt's asleep. That was on the way to the aunt's funeral, and Patty or Selma, I don't remember which one said that.
I think it was, Patty, yeah.
I think it was Patty, too. They were in a road trip. Hey, stop eating that.
Vincent, as we're recording, our illustrious third host is eating the power cord on our camera.
So,
you never know what's going to happen on this show.
Anyhow, they were on the road trip, and that was my first line. What about you?
My first line is, "Ooh, back into the lock with you, Nessie." So Selma starts the video dating thing, and her video doesn't go too well. She chews on some cigarettes and combs them out, or something.
She tied a cigarette in a knot.
Yeah, she
put a lit cigarette in her mouth, tied it in a knot, and then stuck her tongue out. That was supposed to entice people.
And then it cuts to Willie watching it, and he's like, that was his response to what he saw.
Right.
Back to the lock with you, Nessie.
I had that one down as my second line.
That was your second line, oh boy.
So I'm going to go with, welcome to Duff Gardens, where roaming gangs aren't a problem anymore.
So there's this whole thing where there's Duff Gardens, it's like Busch Gardens, that play on that, the amusement park. Mm-hmm. And that was great because it had a picture of the cops arresting Kearney and Jimbo
and Dole. Yeah. That's pretty good. What about your line number 2?
Well, I actually had that one down too as an alternate, but I actually wrote a couple down. Okay. So my next one I will go with 2 more feet and I can put it in the fridge.
Ew, sandwich.
So there's this gag where Homer got like this big hoagie.
10-foot sandwich.
Yeah, that they couldn't all eat, so he took the rest of it home with him. And over the course of like a week, he's eating pieces off it. And Marge at one point's like, Homer, I think the mayo's turning on that, and he didn't care, and that was his line. 2 more feet and I can put it in the fridge.
I don't think that sandwich ever made it into the refrigerator though, because it was purple
and rotting,
and it was really nasty. And also, he got it at the work picnic.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I feel like there must have been something wrong with it to begin with.
It was probably irradiated because it was a nuclear power plant sandwich.
A 10-foot sandwich, so to feed the entire power plant crew, it doesn't seem like it would last very long, honestly. So, I don't know.
No. Somehow, it ended up with Homer.
Homer won that. And, yep. And he was hugging it like it was a stuffed animal at bedtime, and it was all gross and moldy looking, and ew.
And even after it made him deathly ill, he was like, still couldn't give it up.
No,
Marge had to slap it out of his hand.
A couple times.
Oh, amazing.
Homer.
All right, takes us to scenes. What is your scene?
Oh, boy. I'm going to go with the mail order husband scene. So they have this whole lead up of that Selma's looking for a mate, and they have a catalog of potential people that could help her have a baby.
Mm-hmm.
And then Patty says, well, we haven't ever had much luck ordering out of a catalog. Remember the mail order husband? And then they get it to knock on the door in the flashback. And she opens the door and she says, wow, you look just like your picture. And the cardboard cutout falls forward into the apartment. So that was the mail order husband. So I just cracked me up.
Dig it.
What about you?
Well, my scene is the reading of the will toward the beginning where the aunt and they're reading the will. And Marge gets left her collection of potato chips that look like people.
Mm-hmm.
And one looks like Otto von Bismarck and one looks like Jay Leno. And then she's like, take good care of these. These are my children. And then we see Homer is eating them. Mm-hmm. And then he picks up one and it looks like Iwo Jima. It looks like the flag raising at Iwo Jima. He's like, uh-oh.
Just Homer.
So,
Homer.
It was a good Homer moment. That's why I went with it. Oh, boy. Fun stuff. Takes us to winners and losers. How would you like to do that this week?
Let's go with your winner first.
My winner is Jub Jub.
Nice.
Because this is an origin story for Jub Jub. Turns out that the aunt left Jub Jub to Marge's mom and Patty and Selma's mom, but she didn't take to him, was sticking with needles or something, and then
trying to stab
Selma ends up with Jub Jub at the end,
Yep.
and that's her baby that she's going to baby throughout the next 30 years of Simpsons as we know it.
Yep.
So I'd say Jub Jub got a good home out of the deal.
Jub Jub is squared on my sheet as my winner.
Oh man,
so I
we
will
were
go
thinking the same thing.
with Jimbo, Dolph, and Kearney as my winners because at the end of the episode they've absconded from Duff Gardens with some bumper cars and they're driving down the road with these bumper cars that they've escaped Duff Gardens with because Lisa and Bart caused a distraction.
Right.
And so I'll go with those three.
Well, you know the funny thing? I had a backup winner, and it was that. So we were thinking, I took Jub Jub, but I had the bullies as a backup winner.
Well, then our losers might be interesting. Who's your loser?
My loser is everyone in the car that was riding to the will reading because Patty and Selma are chain smoking in the car and making smoke all over the place. And my initial thought was I would not want to be in that car with all that going on. Mm-hmm. So the rest of the family are my losers because they had to deal with that.
Well, I'm going with Lisa because Duff beer for you.
Duff beer for me. I'll have a Duff. We mess this up.
Watch the episode for the real version of that song.
Yeah, we did a parody version.
Yes,
let's put it that way.
That's okay. We won't have any copyright issues.
No, exactly. Yeah,
YouTube by botching that song.
Exactly.
So no worries. But anyhow, they're on a ride that's similar to the It's a Small World ride at Disney, and it has a catchy tune that will drive probably every rider nuts, but along the ride, Bart dares Lisa to drink the water that the boat is floating on.
It's nice.
And she almost gets away with not having to do that, but then Aunt Selma was like, Bart,
Stop it. Lisa,
drink it. And so Lisa does, and it takes her for a wild psychedelic trip. So she's my loser of this episode because, first of all, she had to ride and get that song stuck in her head. She drinks the nasty water, has a trip, and goes and kind of wreaks havoc.
Ends up swimming naked in a fountain or
Yep.
something.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean,
almost gets run over in the parade route. It's not a good episode for her, I don't think.
And then there was a scene earlier where Bart scared her into thinking the dead aunt was alive. So Lisa kind of had her paces in this one. That's a good choice.
So anything else we need to say?
No, Selma's Choice, pretty fun.
It was another episode written by Conan O'Brien. So
yep. give that a shot.
Yep.
It is a funny one for sure. And thanks again for tuning in. We will be back on our normal day here pretty soon, but we thought we would throw this one at you. And here we are. So that's it for this week. And until the next time,
Jiminy
Jiminy
Jillikers.
Jillikers.